All, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to talk about OS login in Google Cloud. So basically, with the help of OS login, we can manage our SSH access to our Linux VM without like creating or managing individual SSH keys. So in this, we use IAM. Basically, IAM roles are given to the users who need access inside our VM, and we don't have to create any keys and don't have to manage anything. And also, OS login maintains a consistent Linux user identity across VM instances. Suppose we have 100 VMs, so it will like to maintain a same user across all the instances, provides following benefits like automatic Linux account lifecycle management. So basically, when we can directly tie a user account to a Google identity. So the same Linux user account information you use across all VMs in the same project or organization. So if you have suppose a user in your organization and you just have to tie that user with the Google identity. So basically you have to create a user in a Google identity, and that user when login into any VM, it has the same like username available in all the VMs. You don't have to create multiple users or maintain anything. It will just tie with your cloud like Google identity, so that it helps us to manage users, and also it helps in fine-grained authorization using cloud IAM. So we can give access based on project level or instance level administration to grant SSH access to our like VMs, like without granting a broader set of privileges. So basically in this we use IAM. So there are some IAM rules we have to provide to user, and we can tell which user can do a root access and which user do only simple some running commands. So based on that we have a fine-grained authorization, and we don't have to give any broader set of privileges and automatic permission updates. So with OS login, when there any permission updation, it will automatically updated. Suppose there's a user as of now, he has only as like read access, but you want to give him root access also, so you have to just give him another role in the IAM. Once you give the role, it like its permission will be automatically updates, and when he try to log in next time, Google will check, okay, he has this specific role and he can do that specific things which you want him to do. And even we can import our existing Linux accounts. So if you have some Linux accounts available in AD or LF, you can set up that also. And even we can integrate with Google account two-step verification. So if you want that, if any specific user login to your VMs, and so you want that there must be two-step verification, so that you can ensure that that is a correct user who is trying to log in. So maybe there is some authenticator from which he has to enter the code. These are some benefits which we can use. So there are some IAM rules. First one is complete OS login, and it is simple rule. If anyone want to access the VM, this is the role you have to give for like without sudo access. But if someone needs a sudo access, or we can say root access, so you have to give this specific role OS admin login. After that, we have come like if there are service account attached, as you know, we have to give service account user role, and then we have a something called OS login external user. Suppose there is a partner organization or someone from your different organization which is helping or managing your infra, and you want to give them access to your infra. So you can use this specific role. So if, once you give this specific role, they can access your VMs in your organization. So basically, it's users from different organization, then the VM they are connecting to. So and we have to give this role on the organization level. I will show you how we can do these all things. After that, we can enable OS login. So we have the option whether we want to enable OS login or OS login with two-factor authentication for a single VM or all VMs in a project by setting OS login metadata. So basically you can set metadata at the project level also. If you set at the project level, it will enable for all the VMs inside the project. And if you set metadata for like inside the instance metadata or for a specific VM, then OS login will be enabled for that only. And when we set OS login metadata, make sure like compute engine deletes the VM authorized keys files, and it will no longer accept connection from SSH keys that are stored in project or instance metadata. So suppose there are some people who are trying who's connecting to your VMs as of now from SSH keys outside, or like from on-prem or somewhere. But as you enable OS login, they cannot create any connection. The connection will be dropped. until they have a Google identity or you have added their keys in the OS login itself. That is a different process I will show you. But make sure if before enabling, the existing connection will drop and they will no longer able to create a SSH connection. So if you are enabling, just make sure what you're doing. And to enable OS login for all the projects, we can set project metadata like this. This is the key, enable OS login, and values true. You can give the same key at that instance level also. After that, if there are some person who want to connect from third party to, suppose there one someone who want to connect from putty. So what you can do, we can use VMs that you OS login a set SSH keys that are associated with your Google account. So first of all, you have to associate a public SSH key with your Google account, and we can use this with Google Cloud CLI or OS login API. So you just have to go to your Cloud Shell or maybe your vCloud CLI, and you have to run this command. In this, you are the person who want to connect, that has to run this command like gcloud compute OS login SSH keys add. So he has to give his public key project in which project he want to connect, and the TTL. It is optional whether you give or not. It doesn't create any issue, but these three are very important. So suppose I want to connect from my local in from my putty. So I first I have to log in into Cloud Shell and will run this command. So it will attach that specific key to my account. So when I try to log in, it will like create a connection from my account only. So I will show you how it will happens. I know it is very like little confusing as of now. After that, there are some limitations also, like OS login support not supported in specific products, feature or VMs. Like GKE public clusters are there, that is running version this, private cluster version this, Windows server will not support, SQL servers will not support this, and Fedora's core OS. If you want to manage these instances, you can check out these all the documentations. So I know it is very little bit confusing. So let's go directly to our console and see how we can do. So I'm in my console as of now. I have two VMs, test VM and VM in first project, and this is my admin account, and I have a one more account that is a test account. He has only viewer role as of now. So what we are going to do, first of all, I will show you my roles also. So this is my test account. He has only viewer role as of now. So what we can do, we have two options. So first of all, we have to enable OS login. So we can do at that project level also or on the VM level also. So let's enable at that project level. So we have to go in this metadata option and just click on add metadata. And after that, we have to put this like enable hyphen OS login, and then we have to give the value true and just click on save. So what will happen, it will just enable the OS login on our at the project level. So in this video I'm talking about OS login. If you don't, in last video I talked about SSH keys and how it works. So if you don't know about that, you can check out that video first and then you can come on this is just kind of second part. So now let's go to IAM and give some roles to my user. So I will give him, basically we need two three roles that is important in this. So I will first of all I will give him like IP secure tunnel user role so that he can make a proper connection. It is because in my firewall rules I am using like IAP range to create a connection. After that, I will give him service account user role because service account has been attached to my VM. If I don't give it, he cannot make a connection until I have. So I have to provide this, and I will click on save. I will not give OS login. I will give in the next step. So let's go to my test user, and I will try to see whether he is logging or not and what issues he is getting. So first of all, I want to show you my firewall rule also. So this is my firewall rule. This is allow SSH, and I the traffic is only allowed from this specific range, that is IAP range. That's why I have given him IAP secured user role. I have discussed this all these things in my last video. So you can check out in that also. So I want that traffic will come only from this range, even my VM as a public IP. So let's go back and I will click on SSH here and let's see what issue I will get when I try to create a connection. Basically, I'm getting this error. SSH authentication has failed. So it is because we have enabled OS login. That's why I cannot connect until I give him the OS login user role. So let's go back. And also one thing in this, we don't need any metadata role like compute metadata, because here SSH keys are not involved. So it will create connection based on our IAM, IAM user. So if you have a proper user, you can create a connection if you have proper roles also. So let me go here and I will click on here OS login. So when I say SSH key is not involved, so it is on the background, but it will not save any SSH keys in metadata or something. So let's give him compute OS login. So basically access to login in a compute engine instance as a standard non-administrator role. So basically it is a non-root. Just click on OK, click on save, and let's go back to our VM. Let me refresh this so my permission will update it. Meanwhile at the backend, let me try once again. Let's see whether it works or not. So I am able to log in now in my VM, as you can see. So if I do cat.ssh, and we can see there is no SSL directory also, it is because Google will not save anything inside that VM or our instance metadata. As I told you also in this here, like here, like when we set the OS login, the Google Cloud will delete the VM authorized keys files and no longer accept connection from SSH keys. So if there are any authorized keys available, it will Google will automatically delete that. So let's go back here and do one thing. So as of now we're in the VM, but if we try to do sudo su, it will ask a password. If we give it the correct password also, we cannot do anything in this. It will say this is a wrong password because we have a only user role. Now if you want to log in into VM as a, like if you want sudo access, you can ask your administrator that provide you the admin role, so he can come here and he can update your role to admin one. So he has to type this OS login and admin login or compute OS admin login, and just click on save. So if you try it again to log in, we can do the sudo su also. So let's try that also once. So I'm in the VM. So if I do sudo su now, let's see. So you can see I'm able to become the root user and I can do anything I want. So this is that specific thing which I want to show you. So it depends on which user you want to give admin role and what user you want to give non-root role. So make sure what you are doing, so it will help also. So this is what we have done, and this is from the console option. So if I go into my VM also, and if I try to see any SSH keys like created by Google at the backend, you will see there is no SSH keys. So if we can see the SSH keys, none, and it will never create SSH keys, and it will not maintain. In the background it is happening, but it will not maintain anything. It will not show any public key because the access is now like configured with the IAM. So that's the beauty of OS login. So we can maintain our access with the IAM permissions. User have correct permissions, then only he can able to log in. So you don't have to worry like if the in your company has someone has a role also, or and he can log in and do something, because until you give the specific OS login role, he can not able to log in anyhow. So let's do one more thing, and if I go to like console like cloud shell also and see what are the different options in the cloud shell we have. So I am going to run this command g cloud compute ssh and test vm hyphen hyphen zone, and I will give this my name of my zone and hyphen tunnel to IAP, so that it will create a connection via IAP. Otherwise, it will try to create a connection via public IP of this Cloud Shell instance. And for that, we don't have a firewall rule, so it will drop the connection. So let's click on this. We don't have any public private key right as of now. Let's see whether it asks to create a public or private key. So see now, if we try to log in, it will again asking the private SSH key not found, public SSH key not found, and you don't have any SSH keys. So basically in this it will create a key. So let's click on enter, and it is asking for a fast phrase which it is a password only. So let's click enter once again, and let's see. So we are logging into our VM, and let's do cat.ssh. There is no directory for SSH1. So let's exit from this and see if we can log in into this .ssh cat. Basically this is the difference when we try to connect via cloud shell. So it will create a private SSH key and public SSH key. And it is happening because it will use the same key to create connection to the other VMs also. So suppose you have 100 VMs, so it will use the same pair to create a connection, but it will not save anything anywhere. So even if we go back to our VM also, so in the last video, just as we seen that it is saving that all that public key and all that in our VM. So if we come here and go to SSH key, still it is not saving any key here. So that's the difference here. But it will create a key, and with the help of this key only, he will log in, like he will create a connection to our VMs. So if I try to create a connection to different VM also, so like suppose this VM in first project, and let me update the zone also. Let's see. So this time it will not create key, it will use the same key pair, and just click on enter. So we can see it has created the connection. Also the username that it is using test underscore cloud concepts for you underscore in. So it will create username based on of email ID only. So this is your email ID. It will create a username based on this. So like this we can log in into the VM from Cloud Shell. But that doesn't mean you don't need permissions. If I remove any permission from here, so let's go and let me remove this compute OS or admin role. And after that we will try once again whether we can able to log in or not until we have the all the proper key also and all the permission like service account user, tunnel user, all that. But that specific permission we have removed. So let's go here. Let me exit from here and we will try connection in a minute once again. Let me try once again. So we can see it is giving error now. Last time it is working like user being Google Cloud, something error it is giving that we cannot connect to this VM. And let's see what if it is giving error for the another VM also, that is our test VM. So we can see it is giving the error again, like we cannot create a connection. And like this you can log in into your VMs with Cloud Shell, and if you don't have permissions even with the Cloud Shell it will give error only. So we have to give proper OS login roles. And if you want to disable OS login, suppose I've enabled at the project level, but I want to disable at instance level. So you can come inside here and okay, I have to go to first of all my admin account. Come here and just click on VM, any VM in which you want to disable the role, and click on edit. Come down at the metadata level and you just click on add item, and inside here just put this enable -os login and give false. So what will happen on this on this specific VM, OS login will be disabled. And let's click on save and see whether it works or not. To try this, I'm going to give my user this custom role allow SSH in VM. So basically it is help us to set instance metadata like metadata permission. So I will go to IAM and I will click on this option, and I will just give a custom role to him so that he can set metadata one so that he can log in, and click on save. So now as of now what is happening, in one VM OS login is enabled on this VM, but on this VM we have disabled it, and also we don't have OS login permission as of now. So we will see even we don't have OS login permission and we have disabled this on this VM also OS login whether it works or not. So I will go back to my second account, that is my test account, and I will try to do once more, try to connect. So we can see it is trying to update metadata something, and let's see. Okay, we can see we are able to log in, and here is the name test at the rate VM in the first project. So you will see there is something different. So here we can see the username is different. So this username will be created by your Linux VM only based on the metadata information available. And if we come here above and if we go here, so we can see here a different username, the test cloud concepts for you.in. So this is the difference of like if you use OS login will use like full information, like test underscore, it will convert everything at the rate or dot into underscore. Whereas if we try to use without OS login, it will take the only your name, like a test, something like this. It will take this only specific information. So you can do, I think we can change this thing also, but I don't know from where we can change, but we can check in the official documentation. But if you are doing this, maybe if you try to enable OS login later on, it can possible that there will be two accounts. So previously, some user have a test account with a test name. As you enable OS login, they have a new account, test underscore cloud concept from this like that. And if there any information or something have in that directory, that will be like gone kind of like in the home directory, they will not find the same information which they have previously saved. So just make sure what you are doing. So like this, I am able to log in. And if I do exit and try to log in, so as of now, I try to log in into my first project. And if I try to log in into test VM, let's see whether it works or not. In this VM, still OS login is enabled and we are getting the same error. So like this, we can do all the things, and we can, if you want to disable OS login any instance level, you can do that. Let me re-enable it, and I want to show how we can connect with third-party apps. Suppose you have a putty app and you want, or you have a like Ubuntu running on your in your system, and you want to create a connection from there. We can do that also. So let me come down, and I will just remove this flag or metadata and click on save. So suppose you have a user and you want to create a connection from his local support putty or your Ubuntu machine which is installed in your personal computer. And so you can ask him like create a public key and run some commands. From there he can attach that public key to his specific user account. So let's see how we can do that. Going to do, first of all, I'm going to create a key. So I'm going to put SSH hyphen T R RSA hyphen F where I want to save this. So I want to save in my SSH directory, and file name, let's say OS login is the file name, and username, let's say that is my test user only. You can give any username, but we have to attach this specific key with our I like Google identity. So basically Google user or your organization user who want to log in. I will click enter. Passphrase I don't need, do ls. So it has created a public key. So I will do cat os login dot pub. So what I will do, I will just copy this key into my cloud shell, and I will create os login dot pub. So basically we are already providing our public key. We are not giving any private key as of now. So after that you have to run a command. So that command is gcloud compute os login, and after that ssh keys add. You have to provide the key file name for the key, like file path. So that is home for me, home test os login hyphen os login dot pub. And after that we have to provide the project name in which we want to use this is my project name, and I will click on enter. So we can see it has given out a very big output. So if we see, so basically this is our username which it has given. So basically we have used this username previously also. So this is the same username, and this is our public key which we have copied. So if you go here, so qpt, and this is our that qpt public key. This is our username, and this is our UID, all. Then this is our home directory which it will create. This is our group ID. It has created all the things. This is POX6 account, what we known as. If you are a Linux person, you must know about this information like group ID, home directory, operating system, primary, and UID, username, all that things. So now what we have to do, we have to just try to create a connection from our local. So if I go here and go back to my VM instances, and if I copy this IP and let's go here and do ssh hyphen I, and my public key, private key name, that is private key my OS login, and I have to provide this username also. Username this at the rate, and this is my public IP. Let's click enter and let's see whether it connects or not. So basically it is going to drop the connection because my my laptop is not allowed in the firewall rules. So what to fix that, I have to first of all find my public IP. Let's go here and I will click on allow SSH rule. I will click on edit. Here I will go and just so I have added my public IP with /32. So only from this IP traffic can come from the internet. I will click on save. So now I will try once again, and still I don't have any compute OS login user role. I will click on enter. It is asking whether I trust this. I will I will want to show to connect. I will click on yes, and it will giving error like permission denied. So basically I don't have permission to log into this VM. So to fix that, I will come back here and I will give myself OS login role. So I will add another role, and this is the OS login. I will type and compute OS login and giving to myself this right now and click on save. So on a test user, I have given that OS login role. So let's go back to our Ubuntu and let's try once again. Maybe it will take some time to update the permission at the background. Let's keep trying. At one time, it will allow us to connect to our VM. So after waiting for some time, and it is allowing me to log into my VM. You can see test compute like cloud concept one, and I can do ls or all that. And if I try to log into another VM also, so let me clear this once. And if I try to run this, to remove this and try to log in into any another VM, like this VM, I have one more VM. I will just copy this public IP and paste this, and we can see I'm also logged into this VM also. So like this, we can log in from your external tools also. Like this is my Ubuntu installed in my like the laptop. If you have putty also, you can try that putty also. First, you have to first of all convert this like my key, like the private key into putty format. And once you convert, you can log into that also. Just give that specific username which Google has created for you. So let me show you once. So like this, we can log in with SSH. The SSH is still involved, but you must be a user. Until you are user of Google Cloud, you don't have an account in like in your organization, you cannot log in. So previously, there is a chance that someone you have a key of your VMs like private key and public. He can create a connection if that key is added into your metadata. But as of now, there is no option to add a key in metadata. So if I try to add a key in metadata, that will be rejected. We cannot use that key to log into our VMs. If you want to log in via a key, we have to create that key. And if someone try to log in into the VM, and suppose you have shared that key to someone you know, and if he try to log in into that VM, so he will log in with your username. And if something happens, so you will be solely responsible for that because all the logs will show that you have done all these things. So make sure like don't share your key even if your friend also ask him to generate his own keys or ask the admin to help him with the key because there's a directory API also from where you can save these all these key things also. So your admin can also provide the user keys. So this is the thing I want to show you. If I go to organization policy and suppose you want to enable this OS login at the organization level also, you can do that also. You can just click on this constraint. You can go inside here and you can just manage policy. Click on manage policy and you can enable override and you can just enable this like you want to enable allow this at the organization level also. So suppose someone has enabled this at the organization level, and if I try to go to VM inside the VM and try to set the metadata like login equals to false, that is not going to work. So you cannot bypass this thing if it has been enabled at the organization level. So you have to make sure this thing. And also if there is some external user from the organization also, you can add him also, and he can also access that VM. So let me do that demo also for you. So what I'm going to show you now, I don't know whether it works or not, but let's try this. So I'm going to IAM. So if you want to give someone from external organization to log into your VM, so you first of all you have to give him the role at the organization level instead of project level. So first of all I have to give him, I will create a user at the organization level. So the one more organization, actually this is not my organization. This is something, if you know about Code Cloud. So from there I am logging into one VM. Sorry, I'm in the Google Cloud, and from that user I will try to log in into this. So even I don't have IAM permissions here. So what I'm going to do, I will just copy this ID, this user ID, and I'm going to come here and click on grant access. And if I click on this and I will select a role. So if I go to OS login, so basically you will see there will be three roles. So at the organization level, this external user role will come. I will click on here, login external user, click on save. So basically it will give me error like domain restricted sharing is not allowed in your organization. So suppose in your organization there is a constraint that you cannot add someone outside from your organization because of this specific policy. First of all, we have to remove this policy. So for the sake of this video, I'm doing this, but that is not allowed until your organization is okay with that. But this is a demo account. I will going to delete it sometime after that. So I can do all this thing. I will click on domain, and these are the three things. I will go this domain restrict sharing, and I will click on manage policy. And as of now, I will make it allow all. Even you can add custom values. I don't know the customer ID. What I'm going to do, I will click on allow all. As of now, for the sake of video, I will click on set policy so that I can test this thing. So as of now, I'm allowing all that organization. Anyone can add any user from any organization. Even I can add now a Google user also. Let's wait for 2 minutes because it will take some time to policy to get updated at the background. Let me try once again. Here's the principal, here's the role, OS login, OS login external user. Let's click on save. Oh, we can see now it has been updated. So now let's go back to this account and let's try to refresh this. Maybe now this user can see our project, or let's see whether it works or not. So if I go here, click on all, it is still not showing. So let's do one thing. It will not show. I know. Let's go to our let's copy this user once, and let's go to our VM instances, and I will go to IAM once again. Now we can provide him some users role so that he can see our at least our VMs. So I will click on grant access. I will give him this role, and I'm going to give him basic viewer role and click on save so that he can see our project. So after waiting for quite long time, it will now showing my first project. You can, so this is the same project which is I have this my crypto auth. So now it is showing in this specific user. Let's go in this user and select my project. And so now this is a kind of external user who's trying to access my like VMs. So I will go to compute engine and let's try to click on SSH on any one of these. Basically, the connection we're going to draw because we don't have proper roles like first of all IAP secure tunnel user role and all that. So let's go back and first of all give him the proper roles so that even he can connect also. So I'm going to click this edit button and I will add some roles. So first of all IAP secure tunnel user I'm going to give him. Second important role is service account user role because service account is attached. And third and the most important role as we are doing OS login. So let's provide an OS login, compute OS login, click on save and let's go back and let's refresh and we will try to log in once again. So like this, we can first of all we have to provide that role at that organization level. Until we give the organization level role, it will no issue, like it will not going to work simply. So until we add as an external user, so he cannot connect to our VM. So let's click on SSH, and we can see we are able to log in. Oh, I hope you are able to see this. We can see external, we can see ext in the starting because it is external user, and again ODL user, all this it is coming like it has convert all that dot and all that into underscore. So if we click on this username, so basically his name also ODL underscore user underscore this and underscore cloud c underscore cloud lab gc. I think that is that the username limit it can we can give to our Linux user. So it has created a username according to that, and that's all. We are able to now log into a channel VM also. So like this, you have to give the roles. That's all from this video. If you have any doubts, suggestions, anything, just comment it down. I will try to help you. I will drop down my email ID also. If you want to connect, just drop me an email. We can connect and if do some troubleshooting if you're facing some issue. That's all. Thank you very much. Hope you like this video.